granniopteryx, granniopteryx. She knows the truth, she's linking every link.
Well, I never. The police have suddenly discovered that it's not legal to shout anti-Jewish slogans and anti-Western slogans like globalise the Intifada at these weekly demonstrations that have been going on since October 2023. They couldn't do anything about it before. Let's have a look at this. Sir Mark Rowley said that police are being prevented from cracking down on anti-Semitic protests because of gaps in British laws. And he wants more laws to stop people from stirring up racial hatred, as if we don't have enough laws. If you think how quickly the police managed to find a law to arrest Peter Lynch, who was simply standing there with a placard saying that the police were corrupt. They found a law to get him straight into the paddy wagon and straight into jail for, I don't know how long they said, 3 years. And the poor fellow ended up, well, not alive. They say it was suicide. Yeah, that goes along with belief in Father Christmas as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, so he wants more laws. He wants laws to target hateful extremism. How many weeks or even days is it going to take for the police to start to use these new, if they are passed, hateful extremism laws for for people like Peter Lynch? Yeah. We don't need more laws. We've got plenty of laws. Public nuisance, calling for jihad is calling for the death of people who don't believe in Islam. You don't need new laws. Apparently, when some Jewish onlooker to one of these marvellous get-togethers complained to the police that they were calling for jihad, the policeman responded, well, there are many interpretations of the word jihad. Suddenly they've discovered there's only one. Well, in a context like this, there is only one. Just after 9 p.m, the Met said they'd made 2 further arrests for public order offences, like they didn't have these offences before. Earlier that day, both the Met and Greater Manchester Police said anyone chanting slogans such as globalise the Intifada would face arrest. Yeah. They couldn't do that before, but they can do it now. And what's the difference? Because in Australia, in Bondi Beach, 2 jihadists shot a lot of people. And it wasn't, there were a lot of Jews there. They were celebrating Hanukkah, but there were other people there as well who also were shot because those guys didn't care if it was just Jews there. They just wanted to make their jihadist mark. And suddenly the government here has gone into, it's not Peter Lynch there with his placard anymore. We're going to get people actually with guns because everybody knows that jihadists are smuggling guns into this country. And Australia, oh yes, they're going to make the toughest gun laws in Australia, aren't they? That's going to really help, as if these guys can't get guns in. We have a coastline, both cases, Australia, Britain, there's a huge coastline. Lots of little boats. A Met source told The Telegraph other chants, such as from the river to the sea, could also lead to arrest as part of a more robust police approach. Could they not do that before? Of course they could. You might ask why. Well, now they are more terrified of gun battles in London than they are of a few Jews getting, sort of harassed by these people, because they were being harassed all the time. In a significant change of direction following the Bondi Beach and Manchester synagogue, Manchester synagogue terror attacks, they didn't do anything. It was Bondi Beach that concentrated their minds. Because one man with a knife, a couple of Jews get killed. Who cares? Well, hardly anyone in the government by the looks of things. But Bondi Beach was something else altogether. And they know these guys can get hold of weapons. And they know that the two people in Bondi that did the Bondi Beach thing, earlier last year, I think, or maybe earlier this year, they went to the Philippines and ended up in a part of the Philippines that is heavily Muslim. And they disappeared for a month. And then they came back to Australia. They had been training. And the police and the government have woken up to the fact that people can just go. I mean, it's a free country. You take a holiday in the Philippines or you go to Turkey and then go somewhere else like Syria. And you get yourself familiar with a lot of weaponry. And then you come back to Britain and you get some smuggled materiel. And there's going to be mayhem. The government knows that, the police know that, and they've known it for a while. They were just sort of hoping it didn't happen, I suppose. In a statement, I suppose that's the police, said anti-Semitic hate crime has surged. Well, give the man a cigar. Protests have intensified. No, they've always been the same. And online abuse has grown since 2023. It's been there all the time. You're just a little more aware of it now. These trends create real fear and disrupt daily life and have an impact on how safe the Jewish community. You know, that woman, Dalton, who was talking, she was saying, I know how this sort of thing makes you feel fear. No, I don't think the Jewish community feels fear. I think it feels anger. And the fear that's coming is coming from the government because they are losing control. And they have let this develop and fester. And all these people here, they meet every week, developing connections and a sort of network that could have been stopped. I don't know if it's even possible to deal with this now. I think they've let it go on too far. Let's see what they say. The police chiefs added, police chiefs, and that's Manchester and London, I think. The words and chants used, especially in protests, matter and have real world consequences. Ha! Well, yeah. As I said, give the men a cigar. They've finally realised something. Of course, that was something they already realised. We have consistently been advised by the CPS that many of the phrases causing fear in Jewish communities. It's not fear. It's concern. That's different. If Jews were the sort of people who were afraid, they'd all have converted to Christianity or Islam hundreds of years ago. No, they stuck to their religion. That's not fear. That's obduracy, I think. Causing fear in the Jewish communities don't meet prosecution thresholds. Of course they do. You got Peter Lynch arrested for holding a placard. If you can do that, then you can do this too. No, it's got nothing to do with the situation as you had it. You just didn't want to do it. Now, in the escalating threat context, we will recalibrate to be more assertive. Yeah, you can do it now and you couldn't do it then. If there's a policeman here, will you tell me how that makes any sense? Actually, if you do try and tell me how that makes any sense, I will have less regard for the police than I have already. Because it would be making sense out of nonsense. Violent acts have taken place. The context has changed. No, the context's been exactly the same. And people like Gideon Falter and the chief rabbi and Rupert Lowe and several people in the House of Lords have been saying that for 2 years. absolutely, we will act decisively and make arrests. A spokesman for the campaign against anti-Semitism said more than 2 years and more than 10 dead Jews later, police chiefs may finally be waking up. No, they were always awake, they just couldn't be bothered. After 2 years of repeatedly excusing genocidal rhetoric and failing to grasp how their inaction was fueling extremism and ignoring the Islamist threat, they have finally realised that words and chants have consequences. They knew it all along. I'm sorry, whoever you spokesman is. They knew it all along. I knew it all along. We all knew it all along. And the spokesman said it remains to be seen if it can even be enforced at this point after police have allowed extremism to run amok for so long undeterred. And yeah, I'm with him on that. Because at these meetings, they develop more contacts and, as I said, a network. There's more of them all joining this sort of bubble of hate. They're going to be very difficult to split apart now. The Embassy of Israel said it's disappointing it has taken such a long time for British authorities to recognise this, and it should not have been on the Jewish community to plead with the authorities to take these threats seriously, only being done after more Jews have been killed. Well, it's got nothing to do with the Jews being killed, really. It's to do with 2 gunmen shooting into a crowd. Remember, the people on Bondi Beach, it wasn't only Jews who were there. There were some non-Jews who got caught in the fire as well. And it was a Jewish party. There was a Hanukkah party. But it was anybody who wasn't a Muslim. And the government has suddenly realised that. Well, no. The government have realised now that they have to act because we'll be having that stuff in London as well. More crowds in London. There's going to be a lot worse if it gets here. And I really don't know if they can clear it up now. But they murdered Peter Lynch for a lot less. Bunch of cowards and hypocrites. I have no respect for any of them. Till next time, you can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.